Buckroll.
What is going on, everybody? Man, tomorrow here. I want to thank you guys for coming through. Got the Gone 11 right here. What's going on, the Gone?
What's going on, MOT? What's going on, brother?
Yeah, man, the stream, man, black conservatives really need it. And the reason why I could talk about it and most people can't talk about it is because I participated in the election. And I participate most times in the election when they're there. So you just can't call yourself living in liberal areas. You don't vote for the liberal party, but you expect all these liberal outcomes from the things that happen within the environment itself with no participation on your part, right?
No participation. No
Yeah.
participation.
So I don't mind raising the level of the conversation to the fact to where just sitting back and just paying attention to nonsense is not going to get you here. I'd rather raise the level of the conversation to get a whole new group of people in here. Because at the end of the day, you got to build this wall right now. Right now, you got to build this wall for this black conservative stuff. And I don't consider the black conservative just a person in name only. I consider hip hop personnel black conservatives. I consider most entertainers Black conservatives. I consider most relationship people of any stretch of the imagination black conservatives. I consider anybody a black conservative if you are black in face, live in a liberal city, expecting liberal outcomes, and you don't participate in the process at all. I consider you a black conservative because there's only two sides here. There is no such thing as a third party person. There is no such thing as a green party person. There's none of that. There's only left and right. If you look up the additions in your state when you vote for the presidency, there is not even a margin of error or an actual level of participation that all of these ancillary movements is going to get you what you want. Because when you ask people what they want, it boils down to liberal and conservative things. And it always has. But we seem to have this method actor that was such a fraud from the first beginning. This black conservative, this person who doesn't have the responsibility of learning anything about the history of anything. They want to be a part of the conversation. They are allowed to be a part of the conversation. They allowed to outnumber people who know what they're talking about 2 to 1, 3 to 1. There's no panel moderation. And the person who knows the least get to talk the most. And there's no minimum level of education that's needed to be a part of this conversation. Because as a black conservative, you could just pretend that things don't exist. And you're going to see several examples of that today. Because when it comes down to it, black conservatives want to deny history. Whenever black conservatives are asked about their movement, they immediately start talking about the other side. No matter what question that they're asked, they sidestep the question and just start talking about the left. There is no left. There is no hard left in this country. Citizens United runs this actual country. Okay? If you don't like money in politics, how do you forget about who put money in politics in the first place? And it's like we have to keep going over this over and over again, but I just think people are just too weak. I think most people are trying to make money off of this situation. They don't really care about the progress piece about it because the first part of progress is the type of area that you choose to live in full time. That the area that you chose to live in full time, that is the first level of your interaction into whether or not you are serious about progress and change. The second thing is it's the historical piece. What you believe or what party you choose or your level of participation that to match up historically with the history of the country. You got so many people doing left wing content, and they only doing it for content's sake. You ask them what side they chose. Oh well, I'm not a Democrat, but you're doing the Democrats' work for them. Just like not picking a side is doing the Republicans' work for them. I want to know what is the timeline from your third party, from your Green Party, from your Libertarian. I want to know what the timeline is before you get success. And what are your issues from those standpoints and where have you seen it done?
You are not going to get an answer on that.
Of
There
course.
there is no answer to be given on that. There is none.
Give a shout out to the people before we move forward. AO, what's going on? XC, what's going on? Thanks for showing up. Cedric Webb, K Diggy,
Little Rock.
Yellow Rock. All right, man, let's keep going. Because at the end of the day, as you know, during this week, I was waiting on this to happen. At some point, I didn't think it was going to happen right now, but Nick Fuentes is not wrong
Yo, that
when he's
was a
talking
gift.
about
That was a gift. Go
Nick
ahead.
Fuentes is not wrong about black conservatives. But I always thought that a white liberal would do this work. That What's going on, Quincy Prince? I always thought that white liberals would do the work that Nick Fuentes has done. We know that black conservatives are frauds and are fake. You're going to see an example in Houston, of all places. You know where Dennis Berlin live and LAR movement live. You know those places. You know, so you have to understand that everybody knows that black conservatives are frauds. And whenever they invite black conservatives on TV, there's literally no pushback for them dropping their actual stuff and then getting up out of there. That's always the case because you can't debate a black conservative. Like you can't debate a method actor. You can't debate somebody who's a literal troll and allowed to be in a space where they're not belonging to the conversation. You can't. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to this video right here. Because Jason Whitlock, and the channel that I'm actually playing this from is Rashad Crenshaw. Put his channel up here. Brought to my attention. So let me shout out his channel. Those a lot bigger than mine's. But I covered a lot of different topics, so my algorithm is kind of all over the place. So this is his channel, and this is where I'm taking this from. Fair use is at the bottom, but he brings up a very good point about Nick Fuentes. And then we're going to play an actual panel where these are not manosphere people that you're going to hear from. You're going to hear from actual individuals who are no better than David Monroe or the Hodge twins. Like like black conservatism has always been a fraud. Why? They don't discuss policy. They always bend it back to culture. Thomas Sowell been getting away with this stuff for a long ass time. Going in front of completely white audiences, trying to characterize the black community as actual felons and actual people who deserve to be treated that way. Not actually understanding that most of hip hop is played in white communities now. Also, not understanding that the actual things that happen within the black community was going to eventually happen in the white community. So now Thomas Sowell really isn't needed anymore because of Eminem is the best hip hop artist and best selling artist. And I'm not sure if you ever been through rural America, but those actual outcomes look just like those outcomes looked in the actual 1980s. Job loss, not be able to build wealth, kids everywhere, all of that stuff is the same. It's called Tap Supreme. So what we're going to do is going to play a portion of this. So we're going to widen the screen here. Boom. And let's play this.
By the way, you are a token. Hey, Jason, you're a token. You are in conservative media as a black guy that can confer upon white people the dignity of not being called a racist for having their views. That's why you get paid. And that's why I don't, because I didn't have the privilege of being born black. I was born white. So there's a limit on what I can say. There's a limit on what I can say without being penalized in the so-called free marketplace of ideas. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows. And everybody's sick of it, especially in the conservative space, that blacks have had it easy. It is.
I'm not gonna lie, the way he's saying blacks, he might as well just say it. He said it before. He said it many times before on his show. I've seen it multiple times. He might as well just say it. The way he said token black, he might as well just launch it with the ER. He might as well just say it. He might as well just say it. He said it before multiple times. But he's spitting facts. When you're a black conservative and you're making conservative media, you have it easier. People will I feel like now conservative media has simmered to a point where it really doesn't matter what demographic you are. But back in the day, 2016, 2017, if you were a black conservative and you had even a little bit of charisma, you had a career. You had a career. And the reality is this individual here is correct about Whitlock. He's correct. Whitlock's job is to say things white people can't say and to get paid to do so. And if you are a white political commentator who is racist, you're going to have a harder time building a substantial career than a black conservative who also believes negative things about black people and other demographics. We saw what happened with Candace. Candace used to talk crazy about blacks for years, still does probably to this day. And the
Yeah, we could do all that commentary that he's doing because it's too obvious. Fair use, but I had to play that clip. And you have to understand that you're taking white jobs away, Jason Black. I'm sorry, not Jason Black, but you have to understand that you are taking those jobs away from white guys. Like when Candace Owens speak and she's just playing a method actor that actually panders to the actual insecurities of most rural whites, she's lauded for it. Just like Jason Whitlock, the stuff that they can't say about black athletes, Jason Whitlock is the person who they call on to come on TV to talk crazy about black athletes. Jason Whitlock is that person who they call. That's the person who they call. And it's so obvious that that's always been the case. Like when Thomas Sowell is called on TV, he's an economist. But when they talk to him on TV, it's always about race. Well, with the exception of last week in the actual tariffs, which he is not wrong about. Thomas Sowell is the same way. Larry Elder, the same way.
You have to give it to Nick Fuentes, aired them out.
He's not wrong.
You guys are done. You black, you're done. You're done. The cover's off. We always knew this. We would say this consistently, but this guy called it out. Now that these guys feel emboldened and they're wide open now, where they can come out here and damn near say whatever they want. They don't need you. They don't need you for you to hold cover for them. They don't need you to hold cover.
They don't need it. I mean, like, look.
They don't need you.
Rick Santorum isn't needed. Ann Coulter isn't needed. Sarah Palin isn't needed. Why? They didn't deliver the Supreme Court to them. They didn't deliver the actual judiciary. Trump delivered everything that they wanted. He delivered them the repealing of Roe v. Wade. These people have been waiting 50 years for that to happen. And Trump delivered on a silver platter to them within the first term. 3 Supreme Court justices. I say the most successful Republican presidents of all time is Donald Trump and George H.W. Bush. They both put 3 Supreme Court justices on the actual Supreme Court. Now, George H.W. Bush did that within 1 term. Trump also did it within 1 term.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any other person within American history that has had the impact on the actual court than those 2.
Roosevelt.
Yeah. But Roosevelt had to expand it.
Well, that's the reason why also, he came to term.
Because
they saw that he was getting ready to literally take over the court and own it, and
perhaps he should have, given what we have right now. But at the end of the day, like, this is where we're at, and it's like not having a side picked means that you're a black conservative. You're literally trying to conserve the position that's currently here. If you have an actual standpoint to how you're going to get there, we need to know what that is. Because you can't be hiding behind trying to trash black culture when white culture mirrors black culture right now. Like, Thomas Sowell really can't go all that many places right now. Like, people are not exporting this stuff to their own country to go after the minorities in their country. Like, this stuff doesn't get that much airplay in Europe. It doesn't. They wouldn't even allow you on TV. And it barely gets any airplay in Canada. So what people have to understand is black conservatives have never said what they're conserving and why they're conserving it. Black conservatives can also not name a time in history where white conservatives is the enemy of black conservatives. What time period do you want to point out where white conservatives have not been black people's enemies? And the people who want to throw transgendered and Latinos under the bus, do you not understand historically that the conservative movement was talking mad crazy about you 20 years ago? Trying to stop you from participating in things, trying to kneecap you from participating in things. Dude, they was doing the same thing that they're doing to these other people. The same exact thing. Not different, they're doing the same thing. So when people try to tell me that, oh, well, you know what, if they deport these immigrants, yeah, you deported a person who had legal status in the United States. Legal status to not be deported, and you deported him to a place where he was guaranteed to get killed. First, there was an actual court case saying that they was going to bring him back. A couple hours ago, less than 4 hours ago, the Trump administration said that we're not under any obligation to bring that guy back under any shape, form, or fashion. But see, you can do that when you have the judiciary in your pocket. You can do that. And these people actually think like all these Latino conservatives had to F around and find out, oh my God, my wife, she's just a good person. Why is she being deported? I'm like, bro, your circumstance make you deportable. Your circumstance make you deportable. And like a lot of people don't understand is that being a conservative means that you're trying to preserve the actual system itself. You should look up speeches on Edmund Burke. There's a lot of actual philosophy majors that I'm going to play here who talks about Edmund Burke because people don't understand that conservatism is the worshiping of power at the expense of the people who it's supposed to cover.
And seeing to it that those who are looking for power and resources don't get it. And that's what this thing comes down to. And that's what these guys are basically voting on. So you're looking so the black conservative is anti-black. It's an anti-black person. They're not for their community.
Anti-progress of any type. Anti-progress of any type.
But they're definitely anti-progress for their own community. That is for sure. Black people have classically been progressive from the standpoint of being in the society and community and becoming an equal citizen. So we've had to progress towards that. That is progressive. Those that want to hold conservatism are here, or conservatism as we see it here in America today, is really about upholding institutions and so forth that keep power in a very, very limited number of people's hands, resources as well. And you're not in there. You're not. You may have your one or two tokens, like this man, like this animal. Fuentes was barking like some feral marsupial screaming, but he's telling you, we're not down with you, man. You are a token. You're one out of you're just one. And there's not going to be many of you. And we don't need you as the face of our movement. We don't need you there.
I don't think they need him right now. I just don't think what's going on, Crimson Prince. I don't think they need these black conservatives right now because Trump is doing all the things that no other Republican in history have done. He actually started delivering on some of this crazy stuff that they actually believe. And like what they don't understand is that when they came in to start cutting these jobs from the government, they cut your job from the government. Like a lot of these people don't understand that you are actually a part of this system that they're trying to cut.
That's exactly correct.
They're literally trying to make room for tax cuts for the wealthy, for kicking off people from the federal people from the federal government. They're literally trying to make room.
And they know that the federal government has been a very big and open-armed employer of black people, and you have some crazy black folks Yeah, you're not going to get any more government jobs. It's all over. Go to the private sector. Go to the private sector. Government jobs. Don't you know the private sector is the one that tends to discriminate against you the most? Well, just start your own business. Sure, start your own business. A lot of people can. A lot of people cannot. You go into banks that are going to be very discriminatory against you in lending and so forth, and they're putting that wide open on the table now that they can discriminate against you. So what you're doing is you're disassembling all the key pieces of these institutions that you think are on your side and are not. And we know this classically, certainly by the numbers. We know statistically that this is exactly what's going on. This is proven. So, we have to sit down and look, when we fought for these things, we did this for some very, very, very critical reasons. Black people are not stupid. We want to do things that are going to work within our interests. So they're those who are cutting back on it, don't want to fight, don't want to take a side, want to sit back and call themselves third party, and expect you to deliver it to them for. And if you don't deliver it to them for, go to hell, do whatever. We'll just sit back and we'll vote the couch and we'll be the heroes. That's the mindset. Schizophrenic, weak, sick, very bad. Very bad. The black conservative means nothing. He's nothing here. He's nothing. He has no power. He's nothing.
They are preservatives. Preservatives. They're trying to preserve the system of power, preserve everything, trying to make sure that they get everything from not really participating in the process, but there is no way that you're going to be able to get that.
Yeah, I mean, you're fronting for him. You're fronting for him. They said that animal that came out there screaming, "You black, black, black," that animal, Fuentes. He came out and told you the deal, and it was very good that he came out and did that. He's a disgusting human being, but at the end of the day, I have to give him credit for coming out there and telling you that, because that's where you're at. To me, it's over. It's a wrap. It's a wrap, man. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Yes, they did. And they paid him to, what he wanted to do was reorient the actual struggle of the market to be paying him to stop messing up things. And I'm telling you, you're not going to be able to depend on him running everything right now to do the actual insider trading, actual investigation. But that investigation is going to happen. And I guarantee you that people profited off this dip and the actual destroying of the actual economy itself.
Yeah, his insiders. When I was a broker, we always knew there's money made on the upside, there's money made on the down. There's money made on both sides. It all depends on where you are. If you can manipulate the market and move it a certain way, you're going to do well. But that's only taking care of a few people. It's not taking care of many others who lost a lot. So, whose interest is he and his cabal really working for? You have to ask yourself these questions. And when people start seeing that you're running a racket after a while, folks are not going to be very happy about that.
At the end of the day, all right. So what we're gonna do is before we play the main event of while we're here, to show you how these black conservatives act, let's just start presenting some of these stories. And then I'm gonna present you another story after that's over. Let's look at this story right here. Wow, that's small. Hold on a second. Make that way bigger. Hold on. All right. Well, that story was about somebody who actually got laid off by Doge, not that far away from retirement, and they're going to lose $3,000 a month in actual retirement benefits because they were laid off from the federal government rather than them actually retiring in months. I've seen this story on CNN. This story right here. Now, Business Insider. A federal worker was months away from full pension when Doge laid her off. Now she gets $3,000 less a month. How would you like to be in that position? How would you like to be in that position? You spent your whole life working for the federal government, You're months away from retirement, and a guy who also profits and benefits off the federal government. You know, when those rockets kind of explode and nobody says, hey, man, don't you owe the federal government some money? That guy is going to come in and he's going to cut things from the actual federal government. Nobody said anything about that, right? Nobody said anything about that. That guy signed a couple contracts and he's out. Elon Musk did not cut money from the military industrial complex because he's part of it. What this was a union busting effort in order to cover and make holes in the actual federal budget so that way they can cover that with tax cuts. Now that's not going to be able to happen all that much because you have $10 trillion that's been excised from the actual economy. So you're not going to be able to have those tax cuts. Again, what is black conservatism worth today? Inquisitive Prince, what is black conservatism worth today?
It's worth the money that the grifting they doing off of it. It's the new fad. And the way I see it, I mean, that's the only thing they can do. I mean, the country moving in the direction of the right, and they want to cash in off of it. I don't know whether they really believe this. I mean, majority of them talk fools talk. I mean, I do know a handful of black people that are conservative, and they true conservative. 95% of the people can't even tell you where conservatism started at, and it just didn't start here a few years ago in the United States. And
like I was watching the Real Dana earlier, and all of her content was about just anti-democratic things. Didn't cover anything that the conservative movement has done since Trump has been in office. It's just to keep the apathy high on the actual what the Democrats are doing bad content. And like I said, if you ain't got no level of participation, if you ain't got no pathway to progress, you are a black conservative. You are a useless individual who's here to make sure that this stuff don't change.
I've come
There's
up
no
with
two ways about it.
new word for them. The people you're YouTube welfare recipients. You don't want to get no real job and participate in the process. You don't want to don't want to be productive. So this show only is that this is the main thing right now. The do nothing Democrats. I mean, and while all this stuff of chaos is going on, China pretty much telling. I made a post this morning on my cousin. I'm like, look, have America not learned anything from the Koreans or the Vietnamese that the Asian people willing to fight to the last man on what to get they. And this illusion nostalgia of the World War II era is over. We don't hold the chips like y'all think we do. You should have stopped it. You should have stopped it when Tricky Dick and all the rest of them sold out the middle class. But you just settle for bigotry, races, and to be lazy so you can not do nothing.
Well,
I mean,
you
but you
know,
have to
it's
understand
their
that
grift.
most of these people just don't understand the process, and they think they're gonna be able to eat this culture war.
They don't, and this is the thing. They don't want to understand the process. They don't want to really get with the facts. Why? Because at the end of the day, that's not what they're really trying to push. You're correct in the fact, Inquisitive Prince, correct in the fact that this is their grift. This is the money. This is how they're going to try to make money. This is the way to get
This
paid.
is their version of capitalism. Eating off a broken country.
Hey, look, man. Rent's due, man. Rent's due. Bills are due.
I mean,
so
brothers got to eat.
So
gotta survive.
So that's where these guys are really coming from on this, and that I saw ABL just the other day. I was watching something on him. ABL, y'all know who he is, Anthony Brian Logan. A lot of people have come down on him for some of the crazy things that he's said, calling himself a black conservative and all that. But the minute he started to support this young brother who stabbed these white guys, this white kid who tried to attack him at a track meet. defend himself. Next thing you know, these same people who were supposed to be down with them were now calling him a monkey, go back to Africa, everything else. He started hearing all kind of stuff coming from them white conservatives where they didn't feel like they could say this kind of stuff before, but now they feel like they can come out there and really start to bang out on you. So their true colors are coming out and they're showing you where you're really coming from. You're not a black conservative. I mean, you're not a black conservative. They don't see you as that. That's not a part of what their movement's about. Their movement is not about you being in it. All right, that's at the end of the day. And for those who are saying I'm in it because of my religious beliefs, man, with the far right religious Christians, and we can put some different, we can put some, we can put some different labels on them if you want, but they don't want you. They don't want to pray with you either. Their God is different from yours.
Man, look,
So
my grandfather had it right, man.
You gotta
when
understand.
he actually said that these actual you and them believe in two different types of religion, and it's like you have to understand that the religion was meant the people who are part of the faith, like the people who are not covered. That doesn't cover you. You that whole love my enemies. That's enemies within the faith who believe the same thing you believe. But even with all that, they don't consider you part of their group, so you're not covered. Yeah, and look, like Nick Fuentes is supposed to be delivering things for black boys, according to Black Grandma Speaks. You know, he got about 3.5 more years for Nick Fuentes to actually deliver something for black boys because he said so.
Well, hold on a
And
second.
Pearlington's supposed to do the same thing.
He's backing away from that right now. He's backing away from that, man. He's trying to say he never said that, man.
Man, look, that dude done turned up the actual volume on the women-based conversation. The dumbasses are over there, and it is crazy. And all right, so what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna play this actual video. But look at there, veteran went to Iraq, fired by Doge, and there's a lot of actual disabled vets who's been fired by Doge too.
They've been vicious on the veterans. It's terrible.
Yes, they has, and not just black either, just veterans.
It's just veterans. It's terrible.
I mean,
terrible.
What we're gonna do? We're gonna play this video right here because it's vitally important to see how black conservatives argue. Now, keep in mind, these are not people off the streets. These are personnel who are part of conservative organizations. They know what topic that they come to discuss. You know, before you get on TV, they go in the green room, they make sure that your talking points are all together before they actually put you on TV. And you're going to get an example. And I swear, these are not people from the manosphere. These are people who are from conservative groups. And you're going to realize something. They have to ignore reality, forget the context of the question. When they're asked for deliberate things about their party, they just turn around and start talking about the left. Yep, and we've seen it within the space. And whenever I see SKC come back, he get a bunch of stupid ass people who listen to him who don't know anything about the process. And I don't even bother even responding to SKC because I know how stupid these people are. And they want to do everything possible except for participate in the process, even though these people actually live in all these liberal areas. But they never want to participate in the process, even though they live around all this liberalism that they claim that they don't want to. So let's put this up here. This is hold on a second. Present. This is from this channel right here. Fair use, fair use. This is from this channel right here. It is Fox 26 Houston. Do black conservatives overlook racism? That's the actual particular point. These are professional individuals, and you're about to see their actual comments when asked a deliberate and direct question and see how they answer the question. What we're going to do is we're going to start playing this, and we're going to stop this at certain moments so that way we can respond to it. Fair use, fair use. Let's go.
Thank you for joining us for The Factor Uncensored tonight. First up, our focus turned to Black conservatives who support President Trump. This is an issue that's ripped from the pages of Nation.com, an article there. Some have accused President Trump of racism on multiple occasions. Last year, he said Black voters are drawn to him because of his criminal indictments and mugshot, a statement some have called racist, while Black conservative supporters not speaking out according to critics is an issue. Is there any truth to Black conservatives being at peace with this so-called racism? Or is this the answer more complex? Joining us to talk about it here on The Factor Uncensored tonight, members of the Urban Conservatives of America, Rael Williams, Alexandra Butt.
Rael Williams? What? Can't be our Rael.
Rael? Oh, hell no.
No. I don't think it's the same guy.
No,
Rael
Williams. Hell no.
New York City? Let's keep going.
Butler, the group's founder, Jonathan McCullough, and former president of NAACP, Brazoria County, Eugene Howard, who's not a member of the group, and you'll soon see.
Okay, before we start, it's an improper setup from the first beginning. You have three Black conservatives. The one on the far left is the guy that's on the left. The rest of the three are Black conservatives. Now, these questions are going to be easy. Watch how they answer these questions.
But let's begin with you guys. For those who say there's a lot of racism that you have to stomach as a Black conservative supporting President Trump, what would you say to that?
Personally, I would say that I've ignored a lot of racism from the left. When Joe Biden said that he said poor people are just as bright and talented as white people, that's a racist comment. There's types of...
Whoa. How is that a racist comment? Nicole, how is that a racist comment?
That is absolute insanity.
What?
But you gotta let this craziness fly, because the stuff these guys are gonna be coming up there saying, you're gonna see exactly why people say they're nothing but a cover. That is madness that was just said. But let this continue, please.
She was asked a direct question, and she just sidestepped the question and just started blaming the left. Unbelievable.
Unreal. Go ahead.
Racism that seem to go ignored and unnoticed by the left and the right, but it's the racism of low expectations that I can't ignore. And so that's why I brought that up first, is because the racism that they want us to overlook is the racism coming from the left.
All right, let's go down.
What was that answer?
What was that answer?
What was that answer?
It's unreal.
They asked you about what's going on the right and things you have to ignore. He talks about things from the left that you have to ignore.
It's unreal. They can't.
What?
It's a classic. Look at the cover game he's running. She should be up here with a big giant umbrella. Man, let me put a cover on these guys.
That's page one of the playbook. Just go ahead and deflect everything.
It is.
To the racism on the left. Okay, but we asked you about the ones on the right. Well, LBJ, he was in Harry Truman, he was a Klansman, and oh Lord, I don't know.
Let's keep going, because we got to stop playing it and respond to it, because there's three conservatives on the panel, and it sounds like traded NBD, Hood Conservative, or SKC, and it's like it's nothing but a method actor show. But let's keep going.
The line, sir, Mr. McCullough.
Yes. Racism to me is not what someone says, it's what they do. And I think this is what makes us different from the left, because we're not watching, what people is saying. We're watching what they're doing. Because at the end of the day, a leader, a president, a politician, whatever you are, it's based on policy. So if you can show me policy that affects or that you can call racism, then I'll agree. But up to this point, I have yet to see anything that he's put into law that affects Black people negatively.
Eyes wide shut.
All right.
You mean except the executive orders, like dropping all the housing discrimination cases as soon as he came into office? You mean totally defunding the EEOC, that they don't reflect black people at all? Removing
cut
Jackie Robinson from the actual military museums, getting rid of things of Harriet Tubman, just pretty much sanitizing the actual national history places of actual Black contributions in society. And notice how he said that in a soundbite, and he doesn't have to expound on it, and the host doesn't make them like, hold on a second, this is what happened. And it's like the guy's outnumbered on the left, 3-1. These people are just dodging the question.
No,
all right,
no, this MOT, they sit up there with big umbrellas, sitting up in there, giving these guys cover, making sure none of this stuff drops on them, and so they can continue to deflect. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. I'm sorry.
Mr. Williams, Ultra MAGA. What you got?
Ultra MAGA. Trump has been great for Black people. If you look at the statistics, Black unemployment was at the highest rates when he was in office. You go down and you look at, he just declassified the MLK files, something Barack Obama didn't do when he was in office.
Of course not.
So I mean, you people are saying he's racist, but he's doing things that presidents that were of color didn't even do.
That's right.
I mean, hold on, wait, let me finish.
It's only been one. Don't say it.
So again, Trump is the man. I support him hands down because what he's done for Black people is literally like you can't compare it to anything.
Right. And before we get to Eugene, let me ask.
It almost sounds like Trump got big balls. Remember that? It almost sounds that way. It almost sounds that way. It sounds a lot like.
No, you just gotta let this play out. Just please, just let it play.
What's going on, Gene? Thanks for coming through. Hope you don't lose your job by coming by, but thanks for coming through.
Ask you this question, the crux of that interview, that article. Do you see racism in the conservative movement that you're a part of? Obviously, you've already said you see it everywhere, but do you see it in the organization? Either of you?
Well, here's the thing. How are we defining racism? Once again, I mean, if we're going to define racism and get...
Okay, really, you know what racism is. So just tell me if you have seen it, if you experienced.
I know what racism is, but I can't speak for everybody else.
Well, let me say something.
Go ahead.
Okay, so when somebody on the left sees me, a Black woman, and just assumes I'm poor or ignorant, or they're like, "Oh my goodness, you speak so well," they're so shocked about that. Why are they shocked about it? That is racism.
And who do you think that most likely come from? Liberals or conservatives?
And hold a second.
What is she talking about?
I mean, just look at her, man. That's Mammy. That's Mammy right there. That's Aunt Jemima right there. But
the Pearl Milling Company. Yeah.
I mean, this is just poor. Listen, Black women are your out of all demographics are your highest and best educated of all groups. What you talking about? Black people, we know this. They're brothers who are fighting about this all day long around around these spaces. What's this woman talking about here? Black conservative? That's it? You're poor, you're dumb, you're stupid. What is this?
I mean, it just can't be the fact that you speak English well, and that's not an expectation. Like
Jemima up in here, man. Jemima up in here. Just.
All right,
this is sad, man. It's sad, man. Go ahead.
Let's let the Pearl Milling Company rock, man.
I overlook that a lot because I'm saying they don't know any better. That happens to me a lot from people on the left. They think that they're my ally. I need their hand. I need them to come in and save me. And I don't. I need God. I don't need them. They're not my Messiah or my savior. So Malcolm X said it best. You know, the liberal is the enemy of the black man. And we can see it right clearly before our eyes. They look at us like we're scum. They look at us like we're poor. And black people are falling for the okie doke. And they're saying, oh, the white man is better than us. He's supreme over us. That's what white supremacy is.
Right.
I don't believe anybody is superior over me. I don't live my life that way. So I just live according to freedom and liberty.
All right, let's hear from Eugene.
Please, man, I've been in this twilight zone. Like, I've been patiently over here at the tail dog position. So first of all, if you can't see the racism, your eyes are just closed. You said it's not about what people say about policy. So let's just run it down real quick. They removed the Harriet Tubman from the National Archives. So, I mean, Harriet was what? I'm sorry, the Trump administration. I'm going to be very clear.
But they didn't.
I'm sorry, they did, and
You're
because
wrong.
of that, no.
Okay,
I let them speak.
Hold on, real quick, guys. Let him go, and then
Thank you.
We have two segments.
Thank you. They removed it, and then they had to put it back after backlash. The same thing they did with the Tuskegee Airmen. They removed that and had to put that back. Trump is literally trying to dismantle Black America. They literally had an executive order to the Smithsonian that did not want to fund African American Cultural Museum because they feel like that's anti-racism or that's reverse racism. Now, as we sit here, we have to be intellectually honest because you guys are being intellectually dishonest. If you can't sit here and tell us, if you can, everyone's watching on TV. Don't take my word for it. Get on TV, you see it yourself. Listen, I'm reading for myself. All I've heard about the left this, the left this. What about this? Last time I checked, the Trump administration is the one cutting the Medicaid, cutting Social Security, cutting Medicare. They're the ones that's cutting education. Last time I checked, Joe Biden, you talked about unemployment.
Doesn't it sound like a Black Manosphere panel where you're actually talking about these things and people want to heckle you through your actual explanation?
It's always going to devolve to that because you got a bunch of ignorance that are up there talking crazy. And when you start making points, their job is to cut you off and try to overtalk you.
That's page 2 of the playbook.
That's what you have, man. Facts don't mean anything to these people.
That's the playbook.
And I'm telling you, like, people don't like moderated debates because you just can't go up there and just get your ish off and you try to play this style of a substance game. That's not how that works. You are correct. Heckling and gift galloping through stuff. And no regard for factual information. Like, all this stuff literally happened a couple of weeks ago. And they want to pretend like none of it happened. And when they ask you about the right, just concentrate on the left or make all the points that would attribute to the right, but just try to attribute to the left. It's crazy. But let's keep going.
Was the laws under Donald Trump? My guy. Joe Biden had the lowest unemployment. Like, you guys want to forget about that.
You voted for Joe Biden.
I mean, you can cherry pick that. You can cherry pick whatever you want. Just like Trump said. Just like Trump said. If you're a felon, you right.
Eugene, let's hear from Mr. McCullough.
Well, basically, he's proving the point. He started talking about the
How is he proving your point? And it's like, how is he proving your point?
And hold on 1 second, MOT. They have not dealt with the facts that he dropped. Debunk what he said. They can't debunk that. They can't debunk it. Debunk those facts.
Yeah, Renaissance man, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining the panel, man.
Hey, what's up? What's up, MOT?
RM, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, Nicole?
Like, this is the stuff that give Black conservatism like a bad name. Like, when these are people from professional organizations that they have been paid to do this. And it's always a progressive or liberal who's outnumbered 3-1 on the panel. It's never 1-on-1. It always has to be 3-on-1. And then they allow the person to heckle them through their actual explanation. And what they do is they try to diminish everything that you say and is not even allowed to actually answer the question itself. Like the person in the middle, the one who's about to talk, he needs an actual definition of racism. That's what I'm saying. And it's like,
Oh my God.
Most of the fault is inviting these people on, even though they look like they can all be in living color characters with the way that they're dressed, except for the dude on the actual left. But that's where we're at. So let's see what this Coon is gonna say.
It will.
Go ahead.
I don't mean to make shots, but this guy's just the look with the camera kind of reminds me of someone who's in this manosphere space. You know?
Yes. Yes. And you wouldn't know who he was unless he had that. Does a hat make you more legitimate?
It's the camo hat and then the Trump support.
Yes.
Then he's older too.
Yeah. That's really good. That's hilarious.
He's a seasoned coon. All right. So let's.
Oh my God.
Policies.
No, you started. Let me talk. You started his whole conversation was
Policies.
about statues and this, that, and the third, and Washington.
Policies.
What does that have to do with the price of gas? Nothing.
What does that have to do with
What?
Wow.
No one asked about the price of gas during this whole conversation. And see, this is what they get away with. And you have to bring these people back to the actual topic of conversation. No one talked about gasoline prices nowhere in this conversation. Nowhere in this conversation. But that's what happened. McGone?
I'm finding this is comedic, but yeah, no one asked them. What they do is they move the goalposts, they move a lot of stuff around to try to get away from some key areas. So that's what they just do. They gish you out, run around, say a lot of crazy things, and this is the kind of stuff you'll run into. It's just no one talked about gas prices.
No what do you got on?
Man, see, here's
what about
the thing.
The price of gasoline?
Oh my God.
No, at this point, this stuff is laughable because it's like you've got one of the you can't hide behind I'm a Colin Powell conservative anymore. Like George Bush at least put black people in his cabinet. He
did.
He pretended, even though his policies
were good at their job.
He pretended okay, to try to be non-racial, even though the whole Hurricane Katrina, all of that was a really bad look. Plus, we look at the housing crisis that happened that basically destroyed a lot of black wealth, post the end of the administration. But these people aren't even doing that. This is at this point, you're like a black person who's trying to join the Confederacy almost.
Dang.
And looking oh, where do I belong? It's cognitive dissonance at this point, and you just know these people have been paid or they've been set up to go and do this because their talking points is just okay, I'm gonna get my next update 2 weeks from now, and it's gonna go from the economy to well, he released the MLK files. It's okay, and this guy is pretty much trying to attack the National Museum for African American History. What are we doing?
You ask him, that he released the MLK files. Okay, and what? And
that's what the comment about the gas. What does it have to do with the price of gas? MLK file. We already know what pretty much what's in the MLK file. The government, was complicit in it happening. Move on. They want intricate details. They ain't never been worried about no MLK files. Mad cause Obama didn't release that. He didn't pardon Jack Johnson. If he did, guess what? All the conservatives would have been mad at him. This is the only time of their lifetime they're gonna have to shine. Other than this, they will be never heard of again. They're just making the best of it.
No. I don't know if y'all saw what Nick Fuentes, y'all talking about him early, what he said to Jason Whitlock.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's these people in a nutshell.
Look,
And the
Nick
top,
Fuentes won his white jobs back, man. Like he was like, look, we're across the bridge. You guys stay over here in Byron Donald's land, and we're just gonna be over here.
and those top tier, your Larry Elders, your and that ilk. Okay, y'all day is over. We can just go dime a dozen, snatch somebody off of social media and elevate them to do your job. You useless. We might get you every 4 years during election time, but other than that, I mean they getting ready to go away like a fart in the wind. And hey, it's on. I mean, after 20 years from now, the political landscape can shift and they'll be grifting right back over on power to the people. So,
Man, let's just keep going with this.
The price of glass have to do with being black?
What I'm saying.
What does the price of gas have to do with being black?
Being black is not.
See, a lack of panel moderation here. We know what's going on. Lots of trolling. It was a very simple question. There was an actual aside, and now we on gasoline prices, and this is where you have to get control over the show. She over there laughing on the right because she knows what she's doing, and both of these dudes in the middle, I'm not sure what they're doing. It's crazy. This is why people don't take black conservatives seriously.
My choice. The viewer can't understand your
I'm sorry.
We're going to take a quick break here.
We'll be right back. Getting nothing to be with gas.
Okay, 1 second, Eugene. Don't go anywhere. We'll continue this conversation after the break. If I don't, I'm probably going to get my ass kicked. Welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We're continuing our conversation about the outlook of or being at peace with so-called racism antics in the conservative movement. Our guests are here, and they all say that just doesn't happen. And we will pick back up with Mr. McCullough. Your thoughts now after hearing Eugene.
Well, as I said, one thing that I don't do, once again, I could care less about what people says or what someone else's interpretation about what they said. I'm a free thinker. I process it, I listen to it, and I watch. If Donald Trump is the problem, why do our communities look the way they look? Explain that to me. How? How is that possible? How is it possible?
What does that have to do with the policies that he put forth? Like, how did we get back to the culture war of the outcomes of the black community when they ask you a simple question about their behavior?
Wait.
Outside of this, how does it boomerang back to that?
But here's the thing.
I don't understand it.
On a macro scale, you could actually say one of the reasons your communities look the way they do is because people like Donald Trump in the 80s were redlining and discriminating against black folks and not renting to them and not selling to them.
Routinely, we're on the real estate boards bringing forth covenants to where they were literally undercover saying don't rent or sell to blacks in various areas, and then round those areas up to make them very wealthy, deal and roll in those areas and keep black people out. That has been a very powerful union that's been going on, for a very long time, as we know. But that's one of the key reasons. And these Negroes are sitting up in here, ahistorical, don't know what's going on, don't understand policy, but here he is over here talking about policy. Incredible. It's unreal.
And the wild thing is, I love how these people just, if 80% of the community thinks this way, they go and think the exact opposite way, and now they're a free thinker. Like, really? It's like, okay.
They became a free thinker the moment they started getting paid.
Okay, there's a fork in the road, and I go if most people go to the left because it makes sense, and then I go to the right because I think, I can find a faster way, and then say I'm a free thinker when it's like, no, the free thinker actually doesn't take either path. Doesn't see it.
A free thinker with no logic and no reason, but you're a free thinker. No theory, ain't nothing tested out. It's just what I say.
Yeah, every black conservative is a free thinker. Kanye West is a free thinker.
Yes,
a free thinker sit up there with a Klansman, with a black Klansman hood on. I looked at that guy and said, This dude is so finished, it's beyond comprehension. My Lord, I haven't seen it. Sounded as
But hey,
bizarre
he
as
was a
possible.
presidential candidate, and people was like, "Well, let's look at the Kanye." What?
Oh,
What? Hey, I'm rocking with Kanye. Okay, let's put him on the stage with some foreign players and get him to talking about how we gonna do these policies on. He'd be sitting there like a deer in the headlight, and he
Yes,
might
he
make
would.
an album.
Yeah, yes, he would. Let's keep going with this.
I mean, it's the system.
Answer that question.
It's a
Whose system?
It's the.
Is it
the
Donald
American-
Trump's system?
It's called systemic issues, brother. It's more than one.
Oh, so it's not
bigger
Trump.
than-
It's systemic.
Bro, just don't try to change the subject because
What do
you
you
don't
mean?
want to be
No,
down
I'm trying
with
to
Trump.
remain on the subject.
I'm willing
Can I
to say there's
respond to-
systemic issues, there's systemic problems in this country. There has been since 1619, since we got here, bro. So if you want to talk about that, we can talk about why our housing look like they do. Or if you want to talk about slavery,
I got a question.
Jim Crow,
I got a
segregation, we can
I got
go
a
down
question.
the list,
I
bro.
got a question.
So
Okay,
like,
one at a
we
time,
have to
real
be
quick.
intellectually honest.
Okay,
dog.
let's be intellectually honest. Let me tell you something. The black community is the most dangerous place in the world for a black man. So if we want to be
Oh my God.
intellectually honest, am I right or wrong?
You're wrong.
The hell does this have to do? Okay, how did we get back to talking about culture this fast? How did we get back here?
It's the culture wars that they're fighting. It's the
How
culture
did we
wars.
get back here?
And this is what's keeping their money flowing. Go ahead.
So he feels safer in an off-white trailer park than in any black community.
You go walking around there. Go walking around there.
Yeah,
So,
so
it's okay for people to treat
wait,
people the way
no,
they treat them until the black community becomes like this sprawling Super Mario World type place where nothing happens. And if it ain't that, then everything's justifiable that happens. Man, okay.
Did I go ahead? Renaissance, what are you going to ask?
No, I was gonna say let him go walk around like Long Island, New York by himself.
Let him go walking up through there. Go step around through Massapequa Park, some of those areas. Just chilling out and stepping through.
Yeah, Bensonhurst.
Oh yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying,
Listen, there are plenty of places in Florida where there are no black people around that I'm not walking around, and it ain't because of the wildlife.
And no,
I'm not walking around those places. No.
And I've been through plenty of black neighborhoods. Never was chased, but I got chased walking through a white neighborhood, walking my way home from a basketball game.
Yeah,
and
I'm from Mississippi, so
it was horrifying.
Man,
so I'm not even gonna get into it.
I'm nice and telling you where you don't belong, and those are the one with pickup trucks. The other one just have the gun out and just escort you back to the line.
you saw that one brother in Georgia. What's his name? Who got killed? You were just looking at a house. And
yeah.
A couple of good old boys rolled on up and took him out.
Yeah, authorized by the law enforcement and the DA to do it.
Just took him out. So we see plenty of cases like this. But anyway, go ahead, MLT.
Boomeranging back to the culture war.
And Mr. McCullough, for those who are wondering what you're talking, explain that.
Well, it's dangerous. Let's just be real. Listen, the violent culture in the black community will not be addressed by black people because we're too busy worried about white supremacy, right? The safest place is the white community. Keep it 100.
Yeah.
Keep it 100.
He keeps saying we got to be intellectually honest, but you have to first be an intellectual to be honest.
Ooh.
So we're seeing right now.
Hold on, so you don't take a jab?
We're seeing. We're seeing.
You see how this dude's getting jumped by all these people and there ain't no panel moderation?
None at all.
Like if this was to happen in real life, somebody would have got stolen at this point. and I'm just saying, at the end of the day, why is this person outnumbered? Why is this person not moderating the panel? Why are we on how dangerous or not dangerous the black community is? This is about racism within the Republican Party. This ain't got nothing to do with trolling this dude 3-1 off everything that he said and keep changing the subject over and over again, and the host isn't moderating the panel. This right here is like Crossfire from the Prophet of Thought series.
That's a
with
part of
3
the grift
people
also.
against 1.
That's a part of the grift.
No, the other thing too is that this dude is making a very disingenuous argument when
Of
he
course he
said,
is.
"Oh yeah," when he's like, "Oh well, black like neighborhoods are dangerous and white." Like the whole argument doesn't even make sense because largely what happens in most of these places is if you rarely even can get. There's only like a few cities in America where you can even have a upper class neighborhood or upper middle class neighborhood that's all black just because of so much of the discrimination. Like if you live in New York City, Atlanta, DC, places like that, Detroit, that's had like historical black populations, you find plenty of black neighborhoods that are upper class, upper middle class, extremely safe, extremely. What they try to do is they try to basically say the black community is they basically try to say the black community is the ghetto, and then say, oh, white America, it's all the rich upper class neighborhoods.
I know. I got family living up in Marlboro, Maryland, right down around the DC area. Got them government jobs that they hand clapping this gone, and $700 million homes, all black community, Grasswell Manor.
Yep.
Houses kept up, gated community. I could drive there, get off the Upper Marlboro Richie exit and go. My aunt, 2 cousins, my uncle. Hey,
Yeah, but
but
the price,
there's
what does
no.
that have to do with the price of gasoline, though? But you know that the black community is the most horrible place for a black man right now.
I'm trying to.
Or check this out. What about that community in MOT, not too far? I think maybe where you used to have a place there in Ohio near Cincinnati, where they came into that historically black area, and the Klansmen the Klansmen and the Nazis came over the bridge to look to attack that community. And
now here's the thing that they didn't show. What they didn't show, there was plenty of white people out there too. Probably half and half with guns. There was plenty of white people out there that they did not show on camera, and I don't know why they didn't show them on camera, because there was a lot of people out there, and it wasn't just black people with guns out there. There was white people with guns out there. Hell, there was even legitimate racist people with guns out there who didn't like these people from out of town coming up here and doing stuff like that in Ohio. Like, all that stuff doesn't get shown on TV.
But what was key was that community was 73 or 74, about 75% black. And you're right, white people did come out, but black people were driving around, taking their kids to school, armed with their masks on, keeping those crazies back. And they had an interview with this one. With this one reporter was talking to this black guy and saying, you got your guns and all that, damn it, don't you feel nervous? Don't you feel, uptight or whatever? This guy like, in this neighborhood, this is the safest I've ever felt. So they were feeling very safe in their own community, armed, patrolling it. Those were your black conservatives.
These people are from Canada, right there, in Tennessee, in other places, coming to the middle of nowhere in Ohio, trying to protest. Like, come on, bro, you don't need guns to go to anywhere to protest. That's crazy.
Yeah. But they were out. But those savages came out there. They came out, and the community responded. So people talking about this is the most dangerous place in the world. But see, you would never hear that kind of conversation going on here with these black conservatives who were here just to speak down and speak really. I mean, these people are anti-black. These are the people giving cover. This is exactly what Nick Fuentes was talking about. That's nothing but spin. That's their job. That's their job.
Nothing but spin. Nothing but spin.
The first thing I hear from the black conservatives was, well, how come they don't do that? Fight against the drug dealers in the area. Oh my goodness. The spin always got to be back to.
Always got to be some spin.
Yeah, and that's their game, and that's all you're gonna hear here. These guys are gonna run back and forth, and you got Miss Jemima sitting on the corner, sitting there, just looking at this, laughing, knowing exactly what's going on. Like you said, MOT, no panel moderation. It's just
3-1 trolling. No control over the conversation. You don't even know what the conversation, the beginning was at this point. Because at this point, they're just shouting them down and just going back to people that don't need to be talking. But again, these are not people off the streets. These are professional, paid Black conservatives.
Yeah.
That's the end of the playbook. To get you to forget what the initial topic was.
Conversation was
end
about.
Of it.
Yes.
And then at the end, we just arguing back to the culture or the female or whatever. It's not
Don't
about.
you understand how dangerous the Black community is, and that's just wrong.
How dangerous and the culture war.
Thank God all of us are well traveled and see different parts of the world or the different parts of the country. Well, you might need to think different about that because sometimes I go in at nighttime and I lock the doors and close and lock the doors. I don't even get out. I piss in the bottle.
Hey, let's keep going.
We're seeing weaponized incompetence in action through when Trump gets rid of redundant civil rights bills, DEI bills. We're seeing
redundant civil rights bills. Would you need civil rights bills if they respected everybody's rights equally?
Unreal.
She's talking about getting rid of DEI.
Weaponized incompetence. Oh, he got rid of this. He must hate Black people. So let's end all this for Black people. Somebody at the top of another part of an organization is the one doing that. Trump didn't say, "I'm writing an executive order to get rid of Harriet Tubman." He never said any of these things.
No.
So you're being intellectually dishonest.
I'm not. It's called an administration.
No,
So hold on. Let me go back.
Let's hear from Eugene really quick, and then you, Mr. Williams, next.
As the only sensible Black person sitting up here, like on TV, let's let them decide who has the intellect and who doesn't as we sit here and speak policy. Now, secondly, you talk about actions, going back to Harriet Tubman, you know, Harriet Tubman did have a little tool that she used to carry. All I would say is I'm so glad we all free because all of us wouldn't have made it if we was walking with Harriet right now. Because all of us would not have make it. Because Harriet was very strict because we all know all skin folk ain't kinfolk, all skin folk ain't down for the struggle. There's no way.
That's an emotional jargon.
No, you can say whatever it is.
That's emotional.
There's no place.
Emotionalism.
Hold on, let me finish my point. If you want to say if you want to say the most dangerous place for a Black man is the Black community, there's no place safe.
Let me tell you something. Facts prove that.
You know what? The most dangerous part is the womb of a Black woman.
Let's hear from Mr. Williams.
Black communities have the highest crime rates, Isaiah. Keep it real. I mean, let's just be honest, all right? Like you rise.
And they also have the highest poverty. Poverty not a part of that.
Hold on, let me finish. But if you're talking about Donald Trump and what he's done for Black people,
what has he done?
You got to remember.
Please tell me what
Jesse Jackson, right?
What has Donald Trump done?
What did he do for him?
Tell me what did he do for
Eugene, let him finish. Let him finish.
What did he do? He helped Jesse Jackson form Black Wall Street.
We talking.
Okay, hold on. Wait, hold on. He gave how much to the Black community?
I don't know. You tell me.
Close to $80 billion.
$80
billion.
In what?
$80 billion.
In what?
What you talking about? You got to do your research.
You just can't throw numbers out. And he
you throwing rhetoric out.
Was it education? Was it how?
Okay. So who remember that $80 billion coming to the Black people? In what way? Where did it happen at? Does anybody remember that?
I think it was that reparations he was trying to give.
$80 billion. I think $80 billion. I think I would have remembered that.
80
billion.
80 what? Come on. I mean, these are fairy tales being talked right.
And he said,
these are fairy tales.
And he tried to equivocate and say, "Well, you throwing out numbers, so I'm throwing out numbers. We all throwing out numbers, bro." And it's like no panel moderation, and they just allow this dude to get panel jumped by 3 conservatives, and it's crazy how this is what happens on TV everywhere.
Redundant civil right, but I mean, you can go back. I learned this by watching C-SPAN. You can go back into the archives on what Congress voted for in the 18 and early 1900s, where they specifically on record where they were saying racist. We passing this bill because we don't want these black people getting these benefits, and it's on
Yes.
record.
Yeah.
Social
And
Security when it first came out.
I mean, they go back to President Hamilton. He even said that about the poor white people. We don't need them to vote. No,
Yeah.
it's on record. We don't need them to vote because they outnumber us. Us privileged people should be the one. And she talking about. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that it used to rub me the wrong way, but now I just know it's just a part of the grift.
Yeah.
I mean, just to
It's a
say
grift
anything.
and a con, and it's only because most whites don't even, come. Hold on a second. Somebody just joined. Okay. How's it going? I think I've seen you here before. Go ahead. I don't want to say your real name, but go ahead. Person just joined the panel.
Yeah, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to. I seen uh, you talking about the racism this in the Republican Party and how I used to say black conservatives are used as tokens or talking heads to express that racism. Is that like I was listening in, but I didn't want to speak on something that's not the baseline issue,
No, but this
the
is a
baseline
baseline
topic.
issue of what the live stream is about. Do you agree or do you disagree? Why you disagree? Or
Well, the thing about it is, I I agree in the way of a Hodge twin or ABL or Officer Tatum or Candace Owens,
I
but
mean, these people are
I
doing the same
don't.
thing, though.
Right. I agree with that, but the thing about it is that I disagree with more the historical legacy of the Black conservative. I'm a big admirer of Mr. Booker T. Washington and Isaiah Stoneman Montgomery and Edward
Oh
McCabe
no.
and
Those are no. Like those are real black conservatives. I'm talking about the modern day. Um, all right, so we're confusing two different things. The modern day black conservative post. Okay, let's just go post civil rights movement bill.
Barry Goldwater more so.
Yeah.
Let's
Very
put it
gold.
that way.
Southern
We're,
strategy.
yes, we're not talking about the actual people who actually did put in work for real work. That's not the black conservative we're talking about. We're
okay.
talking about the bootlicker type, the paid individuals who are on the panel. Like all these people on the panel, the three to the actual left of the dude that's on the left, they're all three paid people who paid to be a part of this political party. And they don't have any interest in actually talking about any real issues, nor do they want to talk about anything historical. That's why it just evolved into a whole bunch of trolling and nonsense. So we're not talking about like real black conservatives because black people were conservative and they wasn't going to vote for Democrats as soon as they got the actual ability to vote. It was
Yeah,
nearly
Jackie
impossible that they was going to
Robinson.
vote. Yes. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the people, the Booker T's and you know, like like the first cut of like the pro black people who actually participated in the process. These people are actually participating against those people's participation in the process historically. So that's the type of black conservatism we're talking about. And the actual black conservatism that you're actually talking about is just American. It's just people want to be treated equally and fairly by their government. And it's quite obvious that there's a group of people who didn't want that happening. It was called conservatives. That's what it was.
Yeah.
They're always trying to find a reason to leave somebody out. That's what they always
And
do.
I kind I believe myself. I'm more conservative than these so-called black conservatives, and I'm a Democrat.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, when I first got here, and people like, oh, MOT, you must be a conservative. Like, no, I believe in the rule of law, and I believe in things operating and actually participating, so that way we can get some type of result out of this. I don't believe in trying to live off broken people and all that kind of nonsense. I don't care about the relationship conversation. It gets on my nerves hearing that type of stuff. The only thing they're trying to do is trying to wash over everything with a whole bunch of stuff that don't work. Well, go ahead, sir. I don't want to say your name, but go ahead, sir. Who just joined?
Oh no. That was you pretty much answered it because I was just speaking on that. I thought y'all was talking about the hit, including everybody, like the
Oh God, no.
whole.
No. This right here is just a nuanced, paid prop method actor type of conservative. Like, these people are not to be looped in with people who actually did do stuff, like the Fred Hamptons and the people who actually did care about the community and actually did give their life, and it was their life work to make sure stuff was right. That's way different than these paid buffoons who are on the panel that's right now. I know plenty of people who are actually conservative, own businesses, who actually vote Republican. They act nothing like these people on the panel. But I'm talking about a very, very, very specific type of conservative. Like, these people on the panel, even though they're in Texas, these are the type of conservatives that would do anything to anyone. They are not meant to be included in the historical record of actual conservatism, especially from black people. These are paid actors. These are paid props.
Yes, I mean,
Okay, fair enough.
All right.
Yeah, the ones who get upset, but they conservative because of child support when the government gave them free contraceptive at the health department to help you.
And they conservative because the women that don't want them won't share their benefits that they organize with them. That's why they're conservative, because they want more free liberal concentration stuff. Like, those people are not conservatives at all. They're just situational. I don't know. They're not conservative. But let's keep going with this. We ain't got that much left.
Hey,
one at a time, guys. One at a time. One at a time.
Don't say yes, like give me something. I gave you the policy.
Go research, bro.
Oh man, come on, y'all the intellectual. Remember, you should have this.
Hold on. On top of that,
Intellectual geniuses.
Okay, this ought to be good. He's asking for actual policies, and they say go look it up. And look at her with a big ass smile on her face on the right. Like, this is what I mean about this trolling bullshit that you have to go through when you ask them these type of black conservatives questions directly. So let's see what he says.
They have no answer. Go ahead.
Of course they don't.
okay.
No, it's not about that, man. It's not,
Guys,
can I say,
okay. On top of that, again, he declassified MLK files, something
You already said that.
Barack Obama did
Man,
not
he
do.
declassified his
Okay.
sex tapes. You interested in that?
hold on,
I'm so glad you
You probably got
excited about that.
You probably got sex tapes of your own boy.
See, thing is, man, you can't be clapping like Edward Anderson on the panel, bro. Like, you gotta. That shit ain't good, dude. That shit ain't good, bro.
Oh,
You start clapping as a black man on TV.
Oh my god.
Man, look, don't do that shit, man. Just ask the question without clapping, bro.
So now
Come on, Eugene. We gotta hear each other.
Who killed MLK. Okay. Donald Trump has always been for the black man.
He's the greatest president
never
America
been
has
against the
ever
black
seen.
man.
Stand down and wait
All
for
right,
it.
Mr. McCullough, you have the last 30 seconds.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Let me tell you something. Here's what we have to stop doing. We have to stop assuming that all black people have to think alike.
Thank you.
We have to stop.
like y'all.
Hold on. That is racism in and of itself within the black community.
Listen, I don't think like y'all. I'm a
Can
racist.
I
Black community than Barack Obama.
Can I-
Black man.
can I
a
finish?
black
There's
man.
a reason.
Answer that.
There's a reason President Trump is the first president in modern history to crack the black vote and get majority of the black support.
Come on.
All lies. Not even
Man,
but
where are those numbers? What?
That's not even true. But anyway, and what did these guys even have? What did they bring to the table? What did they even say?
No. They stopped the conversation from happening. They focused on culture warrior based issues. They didn't actually talk about anything that was relevant. And whenever he asked them for a policy, they talk about declassifying MLK files.
That's it.
Okay, I don't care. Okay, you
Where's the
declassified
policy?
the Kennedy files. Again, that has nothing to do with canceling executive orders for prescription drugs that actually does affect people. That had nothing to do with actually getting rid of the actual discrimination case lawsuits. That had like actual stuff that actually didn't matter. And I'm just saying, if they cannot talk about any type of policy and they roll off into this type of trolling, you got to end the conversation. At the end of the day, any white liberal can shut these people down anytime they want to. I don't know why it has never happened, but they know who to have these conversations in front of, so that way that stuff don't happen. And I'm just telling you, the modern black conservative that is of this type, their stuff is done. They don't go to town halls. They don't do anything. They live in these liberal areas, but they're conservative for some reason. I don't get it. I don't understand it, and it's not needed. Nick Fuentes is right. Those are white jobs. They belong with white people. We don't need these buffoons on here trying to argue with black people about things that don't work. I think the clapping shit from a man looks crazy. Just answer the question and have them answer the question, so that way there ain't a whole bunch of people there. There needs to be a clear method of communication, so that way there's not a whole bunch of trolling that's going on here, and it's just not needed. So
Totally unnecessary. But that's what you have. A nothing conversation that was given here. With these three jumping around, sounding crazy, and looking crazy as well.
all right. So any last words, Mr. Al? Mr. Al.
Oh no. Just thanks for bringing me up. You know what I'm saying?
All right, cool, man.
I enjoyed the show. Listen to you.
All right, thank you for dropping by, sir. Renaissance man, any last words before we get up out of here?
Nah, just man, this one was wild. This is what black conservatism has devolved into. You know, even from, I mean, like I said, if you go back to the Colin Powell era, you know, there's at least some level of respect, dignity, some ideology. You got people who are just looking for a check at this point.
Yes,
looking to get famous. So that's kind of where we are.
And look, I've not seen that type of Trump hat before. The camouflage with the American flag bill, dude. You're overcooning, man. You're overcooning. You don't need to overcoon. We got it, bro. You don't need to be dressing like a 50-year-old guy with the hat on. Again, man, these dudes with these hats, bro, I don't get it. And the dude with like the whole "Make America Great Again," dude, just have the conversation. And this dude has like a whole hair hat outside of that tightly fit dome piece. It's just not needed. And the girl has like all these ropes twisted up in her fucking head on the fucking right. That shit ain't needed either. And then you got this bald head, reasonable dude on the left. It's like, oh man, dress code, man. Like, bro, you're gonna be on TV.
No. This is the viral moment. This is how you go viral and get discovered. Become the next Diamond and Silk, next Jason Whitlock. This is the grift. This is the new grift. So thanks for letting me come up, though.
All right. Inquisitive Prince.
Renaissance man said it's all a grift, but it seemed to be very effective right now. Like I say, right now it's all a grift. Y'all have a good rest, y'all evening, gentlemen. I'm ready to go into the tea here and take me a shower. You know.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
All right.
Oh, they're gone.
Yeah.
This right here. This specific type of unneeded trolling-based conservatism that is only allowed to happen with no panel moderation, and he's outnumbered.
An absolute obscenity under the eyes, as you know, an obscenity. Useless. They serve no purpose. They are anti-black, basically they're anti-black folks, that are calling themselves conservative. Their job is to run interference for the others, and that's what they're there for. Useless, a waste of time. Many of them, if they get into a certain position, can be dangerous. So you have to really look at them. But these are your enemy. I mean, I hate to put it like that. I don't like to have to say that, but this is just your enemy. These are the people you need to kind of move out the way, and turn their volume down a bit, because these people here they're not your friends, and they're not here to help you. And they're strictly just trying to make whatever they can. And when their masters get tired of them, they're going to get kicked to the curb anyway. So they're of no value to you. They're of no value.
Okay, so when you start to actually come across these individuals, you ask them clear and concise questions. Wait for an answer. Do not respond to the emotional game that they're trying to get you to invest in. And say a whole bunch of crazy stuff, because if it's not moderated, you have to let them just ask them very quick questions and allow them to not provide any answer. And you turn to the moderator and said, "This is the question that I asked. Could you ask them the question yourself so that way we can get a definite answer?" That's how you handle those things.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with that. If you want to waste time with them, because you can obviously see that it's going to be a waste of time.
Oh yeah.
Because facts are not important to them. This is not. They're trying to push a certain narrative. Facts are unimportant, and it's just their grift they're trying to push, and that's really it. And what they can make strictly for themselves. They're out for themselves. They're not out for anything else.
2020, we went through this with Hood Servative, right? Like Hood Servative used to jump on and Hood Servative his way through conversation.
Yes,
what he
did.
used to do is jump on the panel, bring no facts, wait for your explanation, and then troll his way out the back. No different than what these people are doing here. You literally don't even have to bring any information to the actual conversation to have the type of conversation that these three conservatives had today. And this is why they don't invite these type of black conservatives on TV, because they know that they're not going to have a realistic conversation. You never see these style of black conservatives in front of any white liberals, ever. You never see it, ever. You don't see it, because it would be called out in a heartbeat. Like, you would never have any one of these buffoons on with David Pakman or Sam Cedar or Tom Hartman. It would never happen. Never happen.
It would rip these people to shreds, send them home crying, and have them looking. It just forget about like Dr. Richie and people like that. Forget about that. But Sam Cedar and them, they would.
Dr. Richie brought on many of these so-called black conservatives, and they can't stick to the points of conversation because they're not used to answering questions.
No, and they don't have any facts, and that's the thing. You're not gonna be dealing with facts with these people. And when you talk about policy, they don't even know policy. What policy?
Because the conversation is just to trigger you with nonsense, so that way you can't even talk about what the previous discussion was about, and then the pixie dust is everywhere. So now you don't know what's going on or how you even got there. So with that said, anything else before we get up out of here to go?
Hey, thanks for inviting me up, MOT. Greatly appreciate it.
All right, cool. All right, this is the new direction that we're going in, doing these responses to these actual videos here. This stuff is crazy. And yes, if you don't have a side pick, because there's only left and right, there is no third party, there is no libertarian, there's no middle of the road. There is center left, center right. And why? Because I can guarantee you're not on these people's side, and you would not want these people speaking for you. So with that said, I want to thank you guys for coming through. No matter tomorrow, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. You guys have a really nice rest of your day. Peace.